Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator, back with you once again with another really interesting video on uPVC spraying. Now, if you remember, the last video that I did was uPVC spraying using the KolorBond. Got there, doing a window. That was quite well received. So today I'm going to do one because I was asked to do one on a uPVC door. I'm in the process of doing it now. I won't go through all of it with you because a lot of the information's actually all on the window spraying about the prep and everything, but I'll briefly touch on what I'm doing, and then we'll stop the video and I'll come back, show you what I'm doing and see the process of actually doing a door. Very similar to doing the window. There's just a few things that if you're doing a door properly and you want to do it properly, you might be interested to see what I do. If it helps you, brilliant. If it doesn't, you'll probably say, oh, you already knew that. Well, that doesn't matter, but I'm just going to show you the basics today of uPVC spraying. I can't even say it, and I've not even got the paint out yet with the fumes. But again, we're using the KolorBond Classic stroke original. It's the one that dries within about 5 minutes. Brilliant stuff. We're doing exactly the same as what we did on the window. We're using the HVLP, that's the QT5. We're going to dial down the needle paint flow, so we put a mist coat on, and then we're just going to build it up with 3/4 coats. Each time I put a little bit more on at a time. But for now, I'll just show you what I've got set up. If you spin around, you can see on the floor I've got my HVLP. Down here I've got to wire up. I've got my tool kit. Oh, there's the Tesla, that's nice. Got all my tool bits and pieces there. Something else I'll show you that you might be interested in getting if you want to do uPVC spraying. You can see just here, I'll get them around here. These are these fold up trestles. Brilliant. I put a bit of that lagging that plumbers use over the top just to put a bit of soft protection on, just with a bit of duct tape. And beauty of these is they're lightweight, the legs fold in together and then they clip together. So unlike the plastic ones, the work sawhorse benches that you see, the plastic ones are quite cumbersome and a bit in your way. These actually fold nicely and they go in your van quite neatly without having to take up too much room. So they're quite a good investment. Where about £35 from B&Q, so not a fortune. Right, just quickly back round to the door. You can see I've just got my solution. I've got my solution there of the get it here. It's the vinyl. I got it there. You see that? It's the vinyl clean from KolorBond. That's the 3 parts water to 1 part solution. What I do, I've just soaked my door in. I've scrubbed it top to bottom. We're only doing the door, we're not doing the frame, but I will clean the door down as well, door frame as well. So I've just scrubbed it on, let it heating in. Get your Scotch Brite pad. You just go over that, just give it a bit of a key. So that's just working in nicely. I'll go back over it, clean it all down, dry it off, and then I go over with the other solution that they do, which is like the cellulose thinners. Again, I'll show you that there. That's the window prep, can you see that? You just go over it with that. That just takes anything off that you might have missed. Now, what's interesting with door spraying is I'm going to remove the handle, I'm going to remove the letterbox, and the customer wants these replacing. Now, you can get these replaced quite easily. I think letterboxes are a bit more money, might be about £30, £40. Handles are about 20, 25. You get those from places like Screwfix, Tool Station, uPVC, window supplier places. So they're an easy swap. Now the biggest problem that you'll probably come across, you can see this, you've got the rubber strips there. Now this KolorBond that I use, you can actually go over those. People say, oh, you don't want to paint the rubber strips in. Well, the KolorBond, that's why I use this KolorBond original, because you can actually go over the rubber strips. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the door off. Now the door's only on screws, dead easy, just unclip it, lift it off. But I'm going to take out that middle panel. And you're going to say, Phil, why are you taking out that middle panel? Well, the reason is they're virtually 2 different sorts of plastics, and with the expansion and contraction of different heats, I'm not bothered what anybody says. I've seen it before when people have just painted a door in one. these doors seem to move, and you'll get it that this little rubber strip there will allow a little bit of a white edge coming round because you've not painted the full panel. Now when I do a door, I'll take out the panel, I'll paint the panel, so that's done separately to the actual frame. And you do that because when you put the panel back in, if it does move, it's not going to show a white edge. Now you're going to say again, Phil, how do you remove the panel? Well, on the inside there's bead strips. Now if you get a putty knife or a flat blade, if you start on the left hand side, you'll be able to tap it into the edge and hopefully just prise it off. Once you've got one off, you can get them all off, and it's quite easy. And again, it's only just positioned up against the rubber strips. The beads on the inside are holding it in place. But what I'll do, when I stop the video, I'll get it all finished off, cleaned down. I'll whip off the inside door panel, whip off the door, I'll get it on the workbench, and I'll show you where I am with it and how it all came off. So I don't want to bore you with half an hour of doing everything in real time. What are we, 6.5 minutes in, 6 minutes in at the moment. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'll stop it, I'll give you the thumbs up like I normally do so I know when to edit my video, and then I'll come back and show you what the door looks like once I've all prepped it. Don't forget, we'll be taking off that glass. Now the glass has got a bit of silicone round. I don't want to disturb that. I'll just slightly tape onto that silicone because once that comes off, it's like a clear silicone, it goes with the glass quite nicely. So for now, again, that's my thumbs up to stop, and then I'll come back to you in a few minutes. Right, over and out, bye. I mentioned about taking the letterbox off on the door handle. Dead easy. 4 screws on the letterbox on the front, 2 on the back, and then there's 2 screws on the door handle. Once you unscrew one side and then the other, it's up there. It's just one long shaft, so that's dead easy. Now, when I mentioned about taking the inner panel off, you can see it's internally beaded. Now I said you take off the left one first, so what you've got to do is just prise that away on the edge there all the way up. Once you prise it away, that should ping off. Once you've pinged off the left hand side, you can take the bottom, the top, and then the right hand side. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to ping off that strip there, take it all off, take that inner panel out, and then that'll release a bit of weight from the door to take it off the hinges. So again, thumbs up. I'm going to stop and then we'll come back. You see what I've done? I've just prized it out at the bottom and then just guide it. You don't want to snap it, just guide it all the way up. You see, just guiding it all, it's coming off. So that's how you do it, dead easy, and this is how you do it properly. So I'll stop again there. Right, a few minutes since I've last seen you. What I've done, got the door off, got the panel out, which I was saying. What I found, move around to the light. What I found, the door rubbers that it says you can go over, which you can paint with the KolorBond, actually were quite easy to remove, so I've actually taken them out, and then what I'll do, once I've painted the door, I'll put them back in, so they won't be painted this time. It doesn't matter, it'll still look good because it's going to be an anthracite colour. So what I've done since last seen you, taped up the door, gone round all the outsides, taped the underside because obviously I don't want any bit of a gust of wind, put in some overspray back on the face, which is on the inside of the house. So I've taped all that round. The main panel came out, it's upside down at the moment. I've taped the glass, taped the other side up as well, which is great. But while it was on the workbench, I've just gone over it with that cellulose stuff. See here. There you go. The window prep. Just went over it with all the window prep, cleaned it all down, got any of the last little bits off that could be on this surface. It's all nice now. I can feel a little bit of static on it. I think that's because of the polythene. I'll see how I go, because what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get all the HVLP set up. I'm going to do that light mist coat over the surface, that gives it the grip, and then I'm going to build up from there. I'll put you on the tripod so you can see me doing it when I come to spray, and you'll see what I do. But no, this is quite simple, just like we've done the window. We just build it up in layers. 3 coats will probably do it. I'll probably give it an extra coat, 4, and then you just put it all back together and hang the door. So all in all, what have I been so far? Started about an hour and a half ago, and that was with all the cleaning down. So actually within a couple of hours this will all be sprayed and then ready to hang. So I would say probably no more than 3 hours, if that, and that's with me fiddling around doing the camera work and taping up. So yeah, just give us a few minutes. I'll get the camera on the tripod, get the HVLP set up, get my paint mixed into the pot. We're using that 1.5 needle again, not the 1.8. We can dial it down to nothing, so nothing goes through the gun. Start releasing the paint flow, just so we get a nice mist going through it. Typical, the wind's picked up. I am in the customer's garage. Fingers crossed we should be alright with that. But yeah, I'll see in a few minutes. I'll do the thumbs up. While I'm doing the thumbs up, you can do that smashing the like button. Yay! The bell I'm not sure about. Subscribe, everything else. But yeah, there's the thumb to know that I'm going to stop and edit, and then come back to it. So see in a few minutes. So we're back. Don't forget, we spoke about the mask before. That's on previous videos. Make sure you wear a mask when you're spraying, just to be on the safe side. I mean, it's health and safety. I've told you about this mask, this biological filter. That takes all my smells of the gases out, so it's like breathing fresh air. There's a particle filter, and then there's that pre-filter at the front, which, as I told you last time, I change that every job. These cartridges, you swap them when you, well, I probably swap them every 12 months. I don't do that much spraying that I'm using it every day. You swap these when you feel that they're not working properly. There's no actual recommended time on that, but pre-filter's the main thing. So I've got my mask, I've got my paint set up. I'm just going to dial it down, just do a mist coat over there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do the frame first. I'm going to bring that all up to virtually the finish, and I'm going to just let that dry, swap it out, and then put the main panel in that's just there. A bit tight on space, but we'll be alright. Time wise, it's not going to take me too long to get 3 or 4 coats on these, because it dries really quick. So the next thing you're going to hear is the turbine going to the HVLP. I'm just going to get the paint going through, give it a mist coat, and then away we go. So let's see how we go. Don't forget to remember what I've told you before. You can always regulate the air on the HVLP if you feel there's too much air going through it. Regulate the air by that. That'll be off, and then the more you turn it, that allows the airflow to go through. That's your dial. It's set to 0 at the minute, and all I'm going to do is just open that out slightly. I'm going to open it out slightly and let a bit of paint through. Don't forget your fan pattern. Wide, narrow. You'll know once you start spraying what you want it on. But for now, we'll just get my test piece of card, and then away we go. I'm back. I just had to move my car. Also, change battery. Good job I've got a spare. Right, I don't know whether you can see there. That's a very... let's get focused. Yeah, that's a very fine mist coat. What I'm going to do is turn it on. I'm just going to dial it up a little bit more. Let's try and get you focused on there. So you can see this. I'm going to put a thicker coat on now. I'll come back. Thicker coat on. That's dry already. So turn back on. You'll have the HVLP going, and then I'm just going to put a little bit more paint on. Chew the air. Now you see that's the second coat. Let's focus on me. That's the second coat gone on. I've not asked it to cover in two, so it's still a bit patchy. It's gone on nicely. I'm trying to get the edges. A few little bits blown off from the inside edge of the actual door. That doesn't matter because what I'll do, if it dries quick, I'll just dust them off, so I'm not worried about that. But we're not far off it. So what I'll do, I'll stop the video. I'll get my next two coats on because it's just showing you the same sort of thing. Then when it's done, I'll show you completed frame, and we'll drop onto the panel. Now the panel, obviously you want to do the edges, work your way around so you don't miss anything. So all good for now. Thumb up because we're going to stop, and I'll catch you in a few minutes. Thank you. Back with you. You see where I've had my face mask on. Right, you can't see it. What I've done, the third coat. When I stop the camera, I've just finished it off with a fourth coat now. So let's try zoom in. The third coat, I just made sure all my edges were done, and then on my final coat I just dialed in my needle to put a little bit more paint on. Went round all the edges first, inner edge, outer edge, and then finished with a little bit wider fan pattern to do the flats. Now don't forget, this dries really quick, so you can go across the top, down the side, and then back round again, and by the time you get up to the top you probably find that it's dry. And that's had 4 coats. It is a satin finish, so when this dulls off it'll be a nice even finish. So I'm just going to give it 5 minutes. I'm going to move the door, just put it into the air so it can dry off. I'm going to move the panel, centre panel, which is just against there, onto the middle again, and then I'm going to do that same principle, just a light waft coat for the first one, second one a little bit more on, third and then fourth will be a finish. Wider fan pattern on the fourth one, a little bit more paint on so the wet paint then flows out. But don't forget, this isn't gloss, so we're not expecting a really glossy finish. We just want a nice satin finish and want it covering. 4 coats, that's not going to be any problem covering, which it isn't. So I'm quite happy with that. Now on the third coat, I just noticed a few little bits from the air had dropped on it. Normally if you half trigger, well, it's not normally, if you half trigger your HVLP sprayer, that lets the air through without the paint, so you can actually blow air over the surface before you start releasing the paint on. So if you dust off with your duster brush, which as I said before, every good decorator has a proper duster brush. We're not on about 4-inch brushes that you'd be emulsioning a door or a wall or anything. Proper duster brush, flat tips, lots softer. Go over it with your duster brush, make sure everything's off it, and then just go over with the air. It's like the compressed air, just to blow anything off it, and then you get a clean sound surface. Anything, you can get your Scotch Brite again, just go over anything if you see anything untoward that you need to. Anything untoward onto the surface, but for that door, that's lovely. Don't forget white PVC to anthracite grey. Could have done it in 3, add 4 on it, so it's had a good coat. So I'm happy with that. Probably by the time I finish talking, this will all be dry and I'll move it. So I'm going to stop the video, do my usual thumb up so I know when to edit and stop it and pause it. I'll get that moved, I'll get the centre panel on, and that one I'll show you the base coat that I'll put on, which is the waft coat, and then from then you know what the process is. So let's stop it there and I'll be back in a minute. So to be back, can you see how fine a mist coat that is? That's all you need, just your first coat, just give it a mist coat so it gives you the grip, and then from the next coat on, give it a little bit thicker coat. So I will stop now, right? That's your first finer coat, and then I'm going to give it a second, a third and a fourth, and then I'll come back when it's all finished. Back with you. Focus in. That's like the third coat now. I've just hung the inner frame, well, outer frame. I'm just going to give it a final coat, just a final coat, and then while that's drying, I'm going to put the rubber seals back on the inner part of the door, get the handle on, get the letterbox on, and stuff like that. So I'll stop you there. Just focusing on that door. It's actually virtually covered, but I like to give it a fourth coat. So we're doing well. Dry within a couple of minutes, which is what we like. You can see that? Yeah. Right. Shut off and I'll come back to you. Bye. Back once again with you. Yeah. Right. So the fourth coat. I don't think really this camera does it justice. Great lovely finish. And you see it. You can't see with the light. Got a lovely even finish. My final coat, I just widened the fan pattern, just dialed it in with a little bit more paint flow, and then went top to bottom, making sure all the edges were covered really on the third coat. Move around. Making sure the edges were covered on the third coat, but the fourth coat was just a final. You can see it's just a little bit patchy at the moment because it's still drying, but I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to give it a few minutes before I start moving it and taking the tapes off. I'll show you what I've done with the door. Right, I've got the door in place. You see, going round. I've got the rubbers back on. It's there. I've got some spacers down here that were fitted before. Now you can see I've got some overspray inside on the inner edge. On the inner edge, it doesn't matter. I've cleaned around anything that just crept onto the inside edge. The pegs for holding the door on, just got those back in. And there's some finishing caps just on the floor, just there, that just go on the underneath. But other than that, it's quite straightforward. You put the handle back on, just put Phillips screws in there, that's dead easy. There's some more spacers go in there, and the panel goes across and into these rubbers. But other than that, we're nearly there. So I'll stop you, and then I'll come back when it's all in and show you it as a finished door. Thank you. Right, so we're back. This is the door finished. Let's see if we can get a wide angle. Completed. Got the strips on the inside, got the rubbers on, got the draft excluder around the bottom, handles back on, letterboxes back on. So we're all good. Let's look at that. It's a nice finish now, it's dried off. It's gone nice and even. Now, I've spoke about it before, all we've got to do is clean up. We've got the little bit of KolorBond in the pot there. All I'm going to do is tip that out, put a bit of brush cleaner in it, wipe all the centre shaft on that, wipe it down, and then just flush some of the brush cleaner through. Clean the tip there. I can't do it. I'll unscrew the cap, air cap, take the needle out the back, just wipe that over, and then put them back on again. And what I do is just run a bit of Vaseline over it, just to keep all the threads nice and clear, so they're not going to get sticky with paint. But other than that, we've done an easy day, haven't we? Again, we're going to ask each other, what should we be charging for doing a door like that? I think doing a door like that with the prep that I've done, we're easy. We must be 250 quid. Easy for a door like that. What do you think? Put your comments below. Let's discuss it. Comments below. Smash the like button. The bell, I'm not sure about the bell, but would we be wrong charging somebody £250 for doing a door like that? We've had 4 coats of paint on. We've done all the proper cleaning down of it. We've got it on nicely. We've put it all back together. And how much would a brand new door be if you wanted a coloured door like that? We could be £600, £700, £800. I'm not sure. If they have a composite door, they must be £900 to £1,000. I don't know, you tell me. But should we say 250 quid for that door? Would we be wrong with materials? What have I been? 3 hours on it, and that's with me fiddling around doing the video in and talking to you. I've just got cleaning up. 10 minutes of me gone for cleaning up. Don't forget, I always say, work smarter, not harder. You could do 2 of these in a day, couldn't you? Yeah, how easy money is that? That's what we want to be doing. We don't want to be working hard. We don't want to be stripping wood chip off things. We want to be doing nice jobs like this. So I'm going to say to you, this year, I'm going to tell you, this year, you want to be looking at doing the jobs that make the money. Don't be doing the jobs that you're slogging away all day, coming home at night feeling shattered. Go and treat yourself to a, well, I've got it here, QT5, that's a stage 5 HVLP. There's other ones available, and start learning to spray. I think spray is the way forward if you want a little bit of an easier job. A couple of doors in a day, a few windows. We did the window last week. What, easily say 200 quid for a window averaging. So you can soon make your money back on your machine. Customers happy because it's obviously saving a lot of money on not having to buy a brand new door. It looks good. And don't forget, in a few years time they might want to change, so you'll be back redoing it again, cheaper than buying a new door. So yeah, let's do a thumbs up, let's have the comments below, let's discuss it. You might want to do it only 100 quid, that's up to you. 150 quid, that's up to you. But let's say, let's call it that we charge 250 quid to do a uPVC door. If we've got 2 doors in a day, at the same house? Would you charge the second door a little bit cheaper because you've already got the paint? Don't know. Let's discuss it. Comments. But let's call it today. I'm going to finish showing you what I've got. I've got a 1.5 needle in there. There's my sprayer, and we've got a front door all nicely done for the customer. Over and out. So see you on the next one. Thanks very much.